welcome back. I'm back without a full head of hair in my car, not in its usual place. And before I explain about that, today we're going to be doing something inside this car, inside the garage, inside the universe. There is the front seat, the back seat light, and the trunk. And I can't quite capture it all together, but it looks alright. And there's not a lot to it. So we're going to change that. The other thing I want to fix is that doesn't sit how you'd ideally want it to sit, like that. So I've got the replacement. I hope you enjoy this camera angle because we are going to be changing the bulbs here first. This here is the cover for this side, which I already removed, and I'll go ahead and change this bulb now. That's the bulb, and this is not a Lego, it's the LED. And this is the finished product. Now, gotta just move on to the other side. As I do that though, I'd like to explain the purpose of today's video. And that's the kind of interesting part. So most of the time you're spent in your car, not looking at it from afar. Damn, that was a bar. But yeah, seriously, you're spent most of the time looking at the vehicle from inside. But many people always focus on making sure that their inside of their car is pristine. Today we're working on the interior as opposed to the exterior. And the reason I mention that is because I think it has more of a connection to our lives than we think.
Oh shit, here we go again.
If you're a car guy, you know that a lot of times people like to look at your car, and so you'll try and do what you can to make it look the best. But that best may not always be what the car needs, because sometimes it could use a little work. It could be maintenance, it could be simple lighting like I'm doing now. The whole point is that you start to prioritize the journey rather than the experience. After all, you do spend the most time inside driving the car. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to do the same thing in the last video, and that is connect something about a car that might be true about our lives. And you might be able to guess so far what it is. But to give you a hint, essentially I'm emphasizing that sometimes in a car we shouldn't focus on the external, about how it looks. Rather, we should focus on the internal, the whole drive sequence and how we feel about the entire journey. And that, you'll find, will be a lot simpler. Just like in our lives, doing things self-improvement wise internally is a lot easier than the external. The bulbs here are very simple. You pop out the old ones, and I did the trunk one, which was like this. Just a tiny little solenoid thing, and you pop in the new one, which looks like this. And your result is a nice bright trunk light. But yeah, going back to the point, it's not about the superficial external look, it's about the internals, the journey, the process. And so I think you can guess the topic. Quite simple, really. It's about self-improvement. It's this title, name that just gets thrown around wherever it wants to be. This is self-improvement, that is self-improvement. Basically everything is self-improvement nowadays. And what I've come to notice is that it's mainly about how you look and not really about what's really improving within you. Now, what I just did was remove that piece, which sits right there, and then underneath there's two screws. There's one, there's the other screw, And as I remove both, I guess I can kind of explain what I mean. So for me, the month of Ramadan is up and coming, and in this whole month, you're supposed to focus on yourself and build yourself, and we kind of lose the plot in more ways than not. But going back to what I was talking about with this external self-improvement, many of us go to the gym, and some of us also try to eat right and do a lot of the things. But we'll also see YouTubers like Clavicular become popular for something as simple as bone smashing and looks maxing, which is deemed self-improvement, but really you're fooling yourself because you're not improving anything. This external world is kind of empty the more you think about it. And going back to what I was saying about the gym kind of thing is that, you know, there are a lot of people like myself that do go to the gym, but most of the time when we're there, we're thinking about our physique and how we might look and focused on the pump and all that. And it rarely becomes about the push and the grind to become better as a human. There's always something more to do internal. Sitting on the prayer mat, focusing on yourself, and actually reading good books. But I'm talking about deep philosophical books that make you think, that make you critically, aware. And critical thinking is this thing that is kind of going away. But, let's put this on a pause and admire the fact that that goes up now. And you can probably see, as from the driver's perspective, why it's actually a lot better. My goal of this video wasn't to talk down on you and make you feel like you aren't doing enough in life, but it's just a kind of a wake-up call that question the things that you're doing. Are they really for you internally and development, or is it just something that's cool to do, or something that's fun to do, or something that's making you look better? Alright, it is now nighttime, and I've got to see these lights in action. If you sit in here with me, you'll see almost a little too bright. Like that specific shot right there looks like I'm in a very old car. So I think the slightly dimmed bulbs worked. I guess I was wrong. And the irony is that I'm gonna take these bulbs that are in there and think I'm gonna put them in either the reverse lights or in the license plate lights. So let me do that, and what that essentially means is, despite everything that I said, I will be now focusing on the exterior of my car again. It is now a few days later, probably like a week or something, but I eventually decided, yes, I was going to do the reverse lights. It ended up looking better, and so I'll give you footage of that, along with footage of these. They look very interesting. I don't know, maybe you might be able to guess what these are, but these are literally the same thing as the LEDs, except they're amber, meaning they're intended for these parking lights, which I will also do. If you didn't like this camera angle before, well, here we are again. Deal with it. But like I said, I got these bulbs, and these are originally meant for the parking lights, so they're amberish, orangish, and I'm going to try it in here for a certain reason, and I want it to look orange here in the front seat. I want to have that bulb look in the middle seat, and then the white in the back seat, and that way it kind of fades into that orange. In addition, I don't think that orange will be that too bright, so we're going to have to see what that looks like. Boom. And come on. Boom. There's one. And there's two. And there we go. The sauna-like color. Yeah, let's see from the outside how it looks. Maybe my blend actually is fire. There's the first. There's the back seat, and you can obviously see the trunk, and it's actually not bad. I don't know. It might grow on me. It's definitely funky, but we're going to have to do with it. So this is the part that I showed you earlier, and they go right there in that little slit where that hole is. And I don't know what cars have them or how they work, but you know what? Let's just get to testing. Here's the piece with the LED in it, and I really hope it's not left and right specific because I already put one in and it seems to work just fine. Holy days. But yeah, I ordered these off Amazon, the LEDs, and I felt like this project wasn't complete. So I hope this is a nice rendition. But essentially right now the car is off in park. So I think these run for a while, and this is kind of meant for a few things, but you know, I think it's aesthetic. So it's gonna put in. And apologies for the cut. My brother decided to stop recording, but that was the reverse lights, and those are the parking lights. Holy crap, I actually really like those. But I think it looks great. You may not agree, but I did a mod that I liked, and I had fun while doing it. And I hope you got the message I was trying to point out. It's been a little bit jumpy. I hope you don't mind. But for those of you trying to actually self-improve and improve themselves internally, I wish you good luck and take care.